How's it going, guys? Today I'll be comparing the iPhone SE versus the Pixel 4a. I know that they're both budget phones, but is it really worth paying another $50 just to get the iPhone SE? Well, I'm gonna tell you now. If you're coming from the iPhone 6 or any Apple ecosystem, then go for the iPhone SE. If you want pure performance, then go for the iPhone SE. If you want a bigger screen, more battery life, and just want to stick with Android, then go with the Pixel 4a. Now, I'm gonna go into my personal experience with both of these phones. Let's start off with hardware and battery life. Now, for the size, the iPhone is smaller, so that's more comfortable to use in my hands. Also, the quality is better too. It's glass versus plastic, so there's no competition there. The button placement though, I do prefer on the Pixel. I like all the buttons on one side, and I do prefer the fingerprint sensor on the back. The screen on the 4a is bigger, so that's a huge plus if you watch a lot of videos, consume content, or just scrolling through Instagram. But if you do play a lot of games, then both of these phones will die off pretty quickly. Nowadays, we're mostly inside, so these phones can last me throughout a day and a half, but for regular use, I would have to charge these by the end of the day anyways. Now, a small win for the iPhone here is it does have wireless charging, so that is pretty helpful for the ones that actually uses it. For performance, the iPhone SE does have the same chip as its flagship phones, so obviously the iPhone will win here. So it really doesn't matter what you're gonna throw at the iPhone SE, it's gonna work smoothly. Therefore, I think the iPhone will last a lot longer just because it has the high performance, the better build quality, and the long-lasting support. So I think the iPhone SE is gonna be the better choice if you're planning to just keep one phone and use it for ages. The Pixel 4a is offering 3 years worth of updates. I think that's pretty decent for a budget tier processor. By that time, 3 years down the road, most likely it would need more power to run its apps and UI anyways. It all comes down to what you do on the phone. If you use your phones really casually, then both of these phones will do just fine. If you do play a lot of games, go for the iPhone, but keep an eye out for that battery. Now, moving on to the cameras, they both have a single one on the front and back, and right now we're shooting at 1080p 30, which is the max I can go up to for the front-facing camera. Also, for the UI, I do like the iPhone better just because I can reach almost any settings with my thumb. Now, I will be switching back and forth with the audio to see which one has the better microphone as well. For the front-facing camera, the Pixel 4a does have the wider shot, and also I do find the HDR more consistent on the Pixel 4 as well. That also transitions over to the portrait mode. Now, for portrait mode on the Pixel 4, it does crop in a bit, and I gotta say, the Pixel does have a more sharper and contrasty look, whereas on the iPhone, it does have that faded, dreamy look. For low light, I do like the skin tones on the iPhone better, but it's just not as clean or sharp as the Pixel 4a. Now, portrait mode on the back cameras, it's obvious that the iPhone cannot do portrait mode on objects. It only works on humans, and here's the thing, I don't like how zoomed or cropped in the portrait mode is on a Pixel. I find myself needing to take a step back or two just to match up or fill up the frame of my subject. But I do like the Pixel's background. It does look more compressed like an actual portrait mode lens. For the everyday situations on the back cameras, they both look really similar. I don't see any major differences between the two, so during daytime, they are both about the same. Now, you will slightly see some differences between the white balance and HDR, but nothing too dramatic. If you like zooming in into your photos, then the Pixel does have a longer reach, but the quality is not going to be too good. But where it really outshines the iPhone is during nighttime. Google's software really cleaned up the image, so if you like zooming in, especially during nighttime, Pixel is the winner. For my low light usage, it seems like the Pixel camera is more snappier than the iPhone's. When I take a picture with the iPhone, I would have to wait a bit for it to snap again. If I do move, then the picture will become pretty blurry. The colors on the iPhone is actually more natural, whereas on the Pixel, they're more aggressive with the white balance. A pro for the Pixel is that it does have night sight, which is a great thing if you are in really dark situations. For video, they both can do 4K 30. For stabilization, I'll give it to the Pixel 4a. On the iPhone, you can tell that there's more of a handheld shaky movement. For HDR, I would give it to the iPhone. It does have the brighter image, and yet it's not clipping on the highlights. The iPhone SE can shoot in 4K 60 and 4K 24 if you want to have more choices, plus the HDR remains the same as 4K 30. For low light, the Pixel wins hands down. The stabilization is smoother, it does have the brighter image, and it's cleaner too. If you look at the leaves, it's so mushy on the iPhone SE compared to the Pixel 4a. In the end, it all comes down to personal preference and what system you like to use. But if you really want to save money in the long run, I would honestly pay 50 more bucks to go for the iPhone SE. If you're the type of person that likes to switch and experience new phones every 2 years or so, then I think paying for the 4a is going to be cheaper for you. So that is my comparison with the iPhone SE versus the Pixel 4a. You can find me on Instagram. Please give it a like, subscribe, hit the bell, and thanks for watching.